Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm Divya. This is my cat Juju, and if you're returning, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. I wanted to kind of just have a real talk about where I'm at the moment in my creative journey as an artist who wants to make a career out of being an artist, being myself, instead of kind of forcing myself into a 9 to 5 when I know that's not for me. And I know that's a really relevant conversation in 2025 because a lot of us, including myself at the moment, I don't have a 9 to 5, but I do work in a job which I use to pay the bills. And I think it's kind of underspoken about the struggle or the sovereignty that's required when you're steering the wheel in the direction you want, but there's nothing guiding you except yourself, your sovereignty, and your own choices. And I guess I see that, and I understand it because I do go through it. And I guess it's okay that you can't do a 9 to 5. He looks so funny right now. This is my cat Juju. He's 12 years old, and I love him very much. He's known me for over half of my life. Wow, I've just realized that. Such a cute cat. He's getting old though. Aww. And yeah, I guess I wanted to talk about how I found momentum in what I'm doing and structure, because I struggled with it for a while, sort of creating my own routine and not being confined to time. I think that's a big one, because for a while I found that things were really strict time-wise. I would wake up at a certain time, eat at a certain time, go to work at a certain time, come home at a certain time, and it was draining my energy because I would always be anticipating the next thing. And I found that I wasn't able to rest properly because rest requires you to let go. And how can you let go when you're always expectant of the next thing? Which I want to talk a bit about. So I really don't thrive when I do a 9 to 5 because it drains my energy, honestly. And I don't have time, mental freedom. So physical labor is fine, physically doing things, but when my mental is trapped in time and what's gonna happen next and what I should be doing and what I'm expected to be doing, then it leaves no room for flow. And flow is what you need to create. And I wasn't very good at resting, and I'm still learning, but I'm a lot better now. But it's really important to be able to rest, to get into the flow state. And one thing that really stuck out to me was that all your life you're taught that the more work you do, the more you get out. So the more work you do, the more money you get. The more effort you put in, the more you get out. And what this journey's really taught me is that that's not the case. That's one way of living, but there is another way of living that's true, where the more you relax and soften into yourself, the more you reap. And I guess as someone who makes art, I make things. I have an Etsy store. I sew clothes. I make digital art. And the thing is that you can't do those things when you're not in a flow state and when you're moving around time. So the shift that you're trying to make is, instead of moving around time, you're trying to make time move around you. So you're literally just trying to flip the dynamic. So instead of constantly accommodating time, what you're trying to do to constantly be in the flow state is to remain in the flow state, and time will bend around you and your routines and what you're doing. And the more you're able to practice that, the easier it gets. And the easier it gets, the more you can do in your creative pursuits. Like, for example, if you think back to a time when you made something, it wasn't necessarily the external circumstances of your environment that led you to be able to get what you wanted to do done or create what you created, as it was the fact that your mood. I used to put it on my mood. Oh, my mood was good. I was in the mood for it. I was in the mood to make something. And you want to train yourself to always be in that mood. And how you do it is by retraining your nervous system to be at a baseline of rest and being regulated. Because when you do something, there's steps involved. Say you're drawing. Each line you make on the page is a step. And when you're in creative flow, you collapse time and you're able to do those steps at your own pace in a flow state. And suddenly something that usually, and I only say usually because you're probably not used to being in a flow state, but when you're not used to being in a flow state, something that we usually take you hours, days, maybe even get you stuck in analysis paralysis before you even attempt to make anything, gets done in such a short amount of time, because each step that gets you there is suddenly in a rhythm, you're in the flow state. So it just flows and it happens. And that's what I mean by the more you relax and soften into yourself, the more you're able to stay in the flow state and remain creative, which in turn allows you to create more. I really hope that makes sense, because it is a bit of a confusing one to explain. But essentially what I'm saying is that if you're trying to remain in a flow state, you need to train your nervous system to be okay with resting, with relaxing. Don't feel guilty for resting and relaxing. I really had to overcome that, because the more I realized that your ability to rest is equal to your ability to do, I really started prioritizing my rest and taking care of myself in that way. And it's led me to where I am now. And I'm really happy. I do see the progress, and in doing so, you need to listen to yourself and what you need. And that may mean making some big changes in your life. For me, it was leaving my full-time job and temping. And so now I just work casually and I listen to how I feel, and first and foremost comes the way I feel. And I was talking about how to create that momentum within a creative flow within your life. So you achieve that by listening to yourself, and how do I explain this in the best way? You listen to yourself and you don't let time dictate your next move. You dictate your next move, and time will move around that. So how I built momentum in my creative pursuits, because before there used to not be any structure. I would sort of get up and maybe I would work, maybe I wouldn't, maybe I would just like rest the whole day or do something completely irrelevant. So I needed that structure, and I think what really helped me find that structure was going to the gym. And trust me, I'm someone who had never gone to, like, I have gone to the gym in the past, but I've never consistently gone. Any sign of pain, recovery, the slightest bit, it would just deter me from even trying. But it really helped me create a sort of discipline, and my reason for doing it is my art and my creative work. I've noticed that it's tremendously impacted my creativity in a positive way, because I have more energy. Like moving your body in an intentional way is a really good way of removing stagnant energy. So on those days I'd have off, when I'd not have structure and I wouldn't be doing anything creative, it's not because I was lazy, but because I genuinely just didn't, like, I didn't have like, I don't know, I just didn't have the flow. And yeah, gym or any sort of like physical exercise that you keep up with is really good for staying creative and having a structure, because I really believe that you need to move your body. And sorry, my video cut off, but I really believe that to have a purpose, you, as a creative at least, you need to move your body in an intentional way, and then you need to create something that didn't exist before. Because you clear out the stagnant energy, you train your body, your capacity to do. You'll be able to maintain focus for longer and execute your ideas faster, and you'll feel more comfortable in your body, you'll feel safer in your body, you'll feel more relaxed and able to stay in the flow state better. Your posture will change, your tone of voice will change, the way you perceive your life will change. And I've noticed that I get tired less easily, which makes me able to do things when I'm in the flow for longer, instead of having to take a break or stop because my arm's too tired from holding the paintbrush, whatever it may be. So that's how I created structure in my life as a creative, and my purpose for doing it is my creative pursuit is my purpose for going to the gym. And yeah, because I know there's many reasons that people go to the gym, and if you're anything like me, it was very difficult to bring myself to do it. And my reason for doing it is because it makes me better at being creative. It really, like, tremendously, like, has helped me. I've been going for 3 months now, and I've noticed big differences in the way I structure my days, I structure my time, and the way I've been able to execute things from my mind into reality. And I can't say enough good things about it. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to lately. And I know it's been a while since I uploaded last, but I just felt like I needed a break. I needed a break from trying to make content and sort of really figure out who I am, if that makes sense. Which I've been doing this whole time, but I really needed to just knuckle down and work on myself for a bit, which is what I've done. And yeah, I really hope this video helped someone, and I'd love to talk about this more because it's been a big part of my life and there's so many aspects to it, and I know I'm not the only one, and if I can help someone, that's amazing, because watching videos like these have helped me at different points in my journey. So as I find myself being able to help people, I want to really do that more, and just know that your work matters and that your body is your laboratory to get that work done. It's the matrix between your internal self and the external world, and the more you work on it and train it, the better you will be at bringing what's within outside. And yeah, I hope you make it a good week and take care of yourself, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.